Lutheran pastor. His brother was a Lutheran pastor. His dad was a Lutheran pastor back in colonial America. He felt called to go to missions into the colony of Virginia. But the colony of Virginia was an Anglican colony. You could not be a Lutheran by law in Virginia. You had to be Anglican. So he left, went to England, was trained in the seminary, was ordained as an Anglican minister, came back to Virginia, served in Virginia as an Anglican minister. In 1776, he's preaching a sermon to his congregation in Virginia, and it's from the book of Ecclesiastes. The famous passage beginning, there's a time to sow, a time to reap. It ends with, there's a time for war and a time for peace. When he said those words, he took off his black preaching robe and revealed the officer's uniform of the Continental Army that he was wearing underneath his black preaching robe. That's what he's doing in this statue, is he's taking off his black preaching robe, revealing his officer's uniform below it. He called out the men of the church to be able to join him in George Washington's army and to be able to fight for the Revolution. Within 24 hours, 300 men from that town left out from Virginia and went to be able to fight with George Washington in his army. He was an officer in that army and served throughout the Revolutionary War. His younger brother, his younger brother Friedrich was in a church in New York. He wrote to him and told him that's offensive. We as men of ministry and of the cloth should not serve in the military and should not step out in this way. Peter wrote back to him and said, the best blood of the continent is being spilled. How can I do any other? Within a few months, the British marched into New York, burned his brother's church to the ground. His brother then joined Peter in the army. They served throughout the course of the army. After the end of it, they retired, went to Pennsylvania after that. Both of them were elected into Congress. His younger brother, Friedrich, was made the very first Speaker of the House of Representatives, was a Lutheran pastor. First house, when they wanted to organize, grabbed a Lutheran pastor. He's the one that organized them as the Speaker of the House. When the state of Virginia selected who they were going to put in the Capitol, they selected Peter Muhlenberg. He's not a Virginian. He's from Pennsylvania. This event Pennsylvania, what was selected here, this event that happened didn't happen in Pennsylvania, it happened in Virginia. So it's a fascinating thing to be able to see how that's all come together. Anyway, I wanted to be able to tell you all that. I've got to run and get on a radio interview. My team is going to lead you out.